Hey, welcome to another episode of iFanboy. My name is Ron Richards, and we're here for part 2 of our Emerald City Comic-Con 2011 coverage. Still super excited to be here. The first con of the season. We've talked to so many great people. I don't want to waste another minute. Let's just get right into the interviews. So I'm here with writer Nathan Edmondson. How you doing?
Well,
excellent. So you've been around. You've got a couple books at Image. The Light and Olympus came out, which I loved Olympus, by the way. Christian Ward, that was great. But you've got, at least I think you got a hit on your hands this year with Who is Jake Ellis.
Thank you.
Yes. How has the reception been to Jake? So we've got 2 issues in, right, of the 5-issue miniseries.
Right.
How has the reaction been?
Just outstanding. Today we were on the cover of Wizard World magazine. If you haven't seen, they did a big article on us. The sales have been just fantastic, and obviously I did the tour from Los Angeles to Atlanta, which Image put together, and the reception to that and the buzz around it, you know, everything's just been feeding into it. But a lot of it, of course, has to do with Tanchi's art. He's doing both yeoman's job and just a fantastic artistic, effort.
Killing it, totally. So for those who might not have checked it out yet or haven't dove into it, what is Who is Jake Ellis? Because it's a really interesting concept. I want to hear you do your pitch for it.
Thanks. Well, it's, let's see. Well, this is the reprint, so this is probably the one you'll find. But Who is Jake Ellis is about John Moore, who's a spy for hire in the European underground. And the reason he's so good is because there's an invisible guy named Jake Ellis who guides him, tells him what to do, and he's visible only to John Moore. So when everything goes bad, the only one who can protect John is Jake.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a great concept, and it's a 5-issue miniseries. Is it going to stop after 5, or do you have plans for this character beyond the 5 issues?
We do have a sequel in mind that's woven into, the first part of the series, so it wouldn't be tacked on, but we are very much a one-step-at-a-time mentality on this, and we want to give this 100% and not be thinking about the next step while we're working on this.
Right. And so now this book is really kind of woven together with, it's got a little espionage kind of thing, but a thriller aspect. When you're plotting the story, how do you manage to, eke out the details as it goes through? I mean, how are you thinking about that, stringing the reader along through the 5 issues, or?
It is a bit of a high wire act to think about, how much is too much and how little can we give to keep them interested all the way through.
You don't want to make it frustrating either, too.
Right, exactly. So, what really carries the story through is, one, there is the mystery, but the interaction between the two characters is, I think, fulfilling enough that you're willing to be left hanging with each issue. We won't reveal, you might think you know things, but until issue 5, we're not going to reveal who Jake Ellis is. But in issue 5, we will reveal who he is.
So there will be a resolution.
Oh, yeah. You'll get the answer to every question.
I'm here with Nick Spencer. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, good.
Now, are there any books you're not writing?
You're
writing a lot of books.
Yeah, no, I'm writing them all.
All of them? Okay, good.
All of them.
So this has become your con now.
Pretty much. Right front and center. They got me right at the...
Funnel everybody right to your door.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Morning Glories, which sort of dropped like a bomb on the industry when it came out, and it's still going strong.
Dropped like a bomb.
Yeah, people weren't expecting it, and sort of...
There you go.
Okay. So the next big indie hit.
Right.
And going strong, you're into the second arc, second trade now?
Yeah.
What do you... Is it... first of all, was the reaction... That must have been really gratifying.
It was amazing. I think the last time we talked on the old video camera was at Chicago when we announced it.
Yeah.
So to go from that to this is insane. It's insane. I don't know. It's been fun to watch it. It's been fun to see people fall in love with the book. It's been great.
Now, you got an interesting mystery going, sort of a lot of interesting characters,
Some would say incomprehensible. Yes.
Now, do you have the whole thing planned? Is it like do you have a long arc conceived in the grand style, or is it open ended?
Nope. I have a bunch of random twists. I got a dartboard. Just fling it. No, I got a plan. Mm-hmm. We know how it ends. We're excited to get there, but it's going to take a long time. It's really about just kind of enjoying the journey and falling in love with the characters along the way.
Is it is it like a long planned run?
It's going to be 100 issues.
Oh, is it?
100 issues. There you go.
You heard it here first?
Write it down. I think so. I said that Seattle was when I was going to kind of say it definitively. I'm sure that Joe and Rodine and everything would love me signing them up for more. But I was kind of always couched between 75 and 100, and really sat down last week and did all the beats out the way that I really wanted them, and just felt like it would be better at 100. So it's going to be around for a really long time.
Cool. Now, Infinite Vacation also started up recently. Tell us where that came from, because that's a very unique sort of twist on things.
Yeah, well, it came from wanting to work with Christian Ward, who's the amazing artist on the book. He and I have been friends for a while, and we were really desperate to work together. But, if you want to work with a guy like Christian, you don't just half-ass it. You don't just, dig an idea out of the closet. I really wanted to do something special with him, because I really think that he's an incredible talent. So, I had the idea for the story, called him up real excitedly. We'd been batting ideas back and forth for like a year, and we're just waiting for that right one, waiting for the light bulb to come on. So as soon as we started talking about it, we knew that was it, and it took a while to get it going. But seeing the response to the first issue it's been incredible. It's like Morning Glories all over again. It's fun.
Now, it's got a very interesting, unique visual style. Do you collaborate very heavily on that, or do you let him take the reins on it, or how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most collaborative processes I've been a part of so far, and it's really gratifying. Christian and I sit down face to face, and we tend to do a lot of the layouts together.
That's unusual in comics, actually.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of spitball ideas back and forth. And then sometimes he'll just get script chunks, and, he'll just bat ideas back to me. And, a lot of it is him. He's a visual genius and a layout genius. And then a lot of it is just the two of us sitting down together. Yeah, it's fun, I mean, I wish that the opportunity to do that kind of thing more presented itself, because it's a really cool experience to get to do it in person together.
It seems like comics can be I don't want to say lonely, but it's isolating, because you're working with somebody who lives somewhere else, but it must be cool to sit down and be able to bat ideas around.
Yeah, you're working in your basement, he's working in his basement, and sometimes it can be very solitary work, and all of it's by email a lot of the time, and after this being such a positive experience, I'm really trying, especially with my creator-owned work over the next year or so, to do more of this, to go wherever the artists are, bring the artists to wherever I am, and let's do it face to face, let's do it in person, because you get some amazing things out of that you just wouldn't by email.
And how many books can you handle a month? Because you've also got a couple of Marvel things coming out.
Yeah.
Are you at your limit, or do you think you can do more? Or?
No, I don't think so. I enjoy working on this many stories at once. It doesn't tire me out. It doesn't frustrate me. It doesn't overwhelm me. For me, it's exciting to get to work on this many characters and this many stories at once. And the fun thing for me is I get to bounce from one kind of story to another. I get to do very divergent things and play with lots of different concepts and lots of different kinds of characters. And if I were only doing 2 or 3 books or whatever, I would get bored. That the variety is part of what makes it so exciting.
You really have a lot of characters. You've got a lot of characters in Morning Glories. You've got Thunder Agents, which has a lot of characters. Then you're going to be doing Secret Avengers, which has a lot of characters. Yeah. You're juggling a lot of personalities, a lot of people, a lot of voices in your head.
Yeah. It's fun getting to the core of a character and finding out what motivates them, what makes them tick, what makes them move. And, thankfully for me, it's like I usually sit down, and it doesn't really take me that long to try to get a handle on them. It's just kind of like how quickly you can meet people, at a bar, like you can just kind of get a feel for somebody in a few minutes' time, and kind of what they are and what makes them tick. And, there might be some surprises, but you get that general approach, it's just like that with the character. You just sit down with them and you figure out who they are and what they're all about. And it's just like real people. First impressions are everything. So, and you just keep it simple. The nice thing, particularly about a lot of those Marvel characters, is they've been around a long time, and from Stanley on, it's been a place that's always specialized in making really compelling archetypes. And when you can get to the core of who that character is, to that one sentence, if you can find that, the rest will come pretty easily.
So I'm here with Joe Keating, and more importantly, Frank Cho. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Joe's here. How you doing, Joe?
Hello.
So this is Eisner Award winning.
I was just waiting in line for Frank, so I don't know what's going on.
But so Frank, you've been super busy. You got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. What can you tell us about the 50 Girls project?
50 Girls 50. I've been working on that. Me and Doug Murray have been working on it for a while. We got a new artist, Axel, who was chosen from was a winner of a competition we had.
Cool.
And I just got swamped with work and basically never got around to it, so I called up Joe Keating.
Oh, so that's why you're here. So how'd you get involved?
It was basically, the project got stalled, and Frank and I talk on the phone, once every other week or so.
No, actually, I don't like this guy at all.
I call him. He doesn't really pick up,
Right.
but every once in a
The
while.
messages you leave are awesome.
I fill up his voicemail, and I get the
Right.
So, but anyway, it just came up that why don't I edit this and help get it along and finished, and
Cool.
So now we're getting finished in June.
Yep, the first issue's coming out first week of June.
Yeah, first week of June.
And then second, July, August, September.
Yeah.
So
Nice, so it's rolling.
it's rolling.
rolling.
The artwork is completely finished.
Yeah.
So we're getting it colored and lettered. So
As of this past week, I think the first issue only needs 2 more pages of colors, and it's almost all lettered. So
Great. So for people who haven't heard about the project, what are they going to get when it comes out? Like what's content wise?
well, I guess they're probably gonna get a stiffy. No, it's kind of like an all-female Star Trek adventure.
Yep.
And it's just good old clean, hot girls running around in alien jungles and right.
that's about it.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
That's going to sell. I think you're onto something.
It has a blockbuster written all over it. So.
Because I don't know if you've heard this, but you draw women fairly well.
Yeah. So that's what people say.
Yeah, and everything's conceived and designed by Frank, and all the covers are by Frank, and so it's got a very Frank.
Right. And Doug Murray, who's a great writer, and who has done a bunch of Marvel stuff in the past.
I think he's really famous for the Nam.
Oh yeah.
Mark.
Classic.
The name, and so I can't wait to see it. I mean, it's been we've been working on it for a while, so it's kind of finally nice to see it happen.
Cool. And you got Guns and Dinos coming out?
Guns and Dinos are coming out. Yeah, it's a movie pitch that I'm actually going to turn into a comic book first, and then become a movie pitch.
Yeah. It's a great title.
It is. Actually, it's a Christmas story.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. No, it's a sci-fi. Actually, it's more of an adventure story, and a little bit of love story too. Good stuff. Awesome. And dinosaurs dying and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Buy guns.
Buy guns. Buy guns.
So when can people expect that? Later on this year? Or?
Yeah, I'm shooting for end of the year.
Cool. All right.
So, yeah.
And then finally, you guys recently announced that you guys were working together on a project.
That's correct.
It's news to Frank.
Yeah, by the way, I guess I should tell you right now. Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Brutal? But it's going to be a female hero, I think was the
it's
premise?
a female assassin who exclusively goes after, you can get hired to murder superheroes and supervillains for, $500 million?
Yeah, $500 million.
Yeah.
She will whack anyone.
Cool. And so she basically whacks too many of the wrong people, and
That catches up with her?
catches up with her in a big way.
Well, yeah, and basically it's kind of like Money Trail. They're trying to figure out where all that money's going, and it kind of leads into pretty unexpected alley.
Cool. Is it going to be a mini or an ongoing?
Well, I mean, we were talking about it as a 4-issue miniseries, which I think it's going to be.
Minimum, right?
And the first issue, the first series is going to be a 4-issue miniseries, and if it takes off, then we'll try to do more.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hellboy, like a Hellboy model.
Hellboy, Kick-Ass, that type of thing, Superior, I mean, we already kind of kicking around ideas for the second series already, so hopefully it does well.
Yeah,
you thought you were.
Yeah.
Right, just going, yeah.
Who are you again? Oh, God.
Excellent. Well, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. Thank you very much. I know, fan favorite artist. I'm sure everyone's going to love to see your work.
And his intern,
and his hanger-on. This is what happens when you wait in line, and Frank chose a really long line. If you wait till the very end and get up.
You can be a comic writer. It's worked for me.
I'm here with Chris Roberson. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Now, you've got a lot of stuff going on. One of our favorite books is at Boom, one of the Stan Lee books, Starborn.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how that came about.
I just got a call from, he's now, I guess, editor-in-chief, Matt Gagnon. At that point, he was managing editor. He called me. We'd been doing some work on a different book, and he called me up and said, would you like to write one of these 3 Stan Lee books? And I think I said yes without even processing what those words meant. I was just like, yeah, I'll do whatever it is. And then he would try to describe the concept to me, and I was like, I don't care, I'll do it. It's Stan Lee. What's interesting about it is that after I signed on and had a moment to think about it, I worried for a minute that it would be that kind of thing where a big name guy has his name on something, rubber stamped it, but he wouldn't really be involved. And I started to feel not quite as enthusiastic about it. But as the process started along, I realized he was actually involved. I mean, I had breakfast with the guy. The moment where it finally clicked for me was Mark Waid was editing the line at that point. So Mark Waid calls me to give me Stan Lee's notes on my script. So to unpack that statement for a bit, Mark Waid knows who I am, has my phone number, and uses it to call me to tell me what Stan Lee thinks of something that I've written that Stan Lee has now read. So Stan Lee knows who I am and has an opinion about something I've written that was a good one. And as I'm carrying this professional conversation on the phone, the rest of my brain is just freaking out in the background, just screaming incoherently. I don't understand what this is about. So yeah, that's how it happened.
So from what we hear, he's involved in the story. I mean, is it
every issue?
Is that well, like you said, that's got to be mind blowing. But is it fun? Because he's so high energy.
Oh my God! Somebody the other day was asking me because I mentioned that I had breakfast with him. They asked what he was really like. That's Stan. Yeah. It's not like a public persona. That's what he's like all day. And he's just so charming and genuine, and he's got more energy than 10, 20-year-olds put together. It's just been really, really cool. And yeah, he reviews all the scripts, he reviews all the art, and luckily, I'm just going to knock this thing over. He's liking what I'm doing. So a lot of times the notes are just it's a great issue. It's a winner. I'm like, oh, great.
Now, tell people who maybe not read the book, the concept of Starborn. What's it about?
Okay, the guy, modern day America, guy works a mind-numbing day job he hates, but really, really wants to be a science fiction writer. And since he was a kid, has been inventing this very elaborate, intricate, alien culture that he's been making up stories in. And then some of the aliens from his stories show up and try to kill him. And the girl next door that he was always in love with growing up shows up, and she's a shape-shifting alien assassin protecting him from the aliens that are trying to kill him. And hilarity ensues.
I like that it's like a pure sci-fi book.
Yeah.
I mean, because, superheroes dominate, and the rest of the books are superhero-esque. Well, I guess they're sci-fi a little bit too, but I like that it's like a pure aliens, fantasy sort of sci-fi adventure.
As it goes along, what we'll be doing with it is, so the first 4 issues kind of sets up the basic conflict, and the second arc, he goes to space. In space, it's a science fiction story. It's a big space opera. When he comes back to Earth, he's a superhero because it's a matter of idiom, right? So in space, he's having these space adventures. When it comes to Earth, he's got kind of a costume and he's got these powers and he ends up protecting people and these are fighting villains. And so it's really just a question of where he is. It's that kind of that Adam Strange Man of Two Worlds thing where in our world he's one thing, out there he's another.
It seems like it's a lot of sort of multi-genre fun. You can get to play with lots of different things.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the art is fantastic. Yeah. Kari Randolph is doing the art, and Mitch Gerard is doing the colors, and they make my silly little words look ridiculously good.
And speaking of that, you have iZombie and you have Allred doing that.
Yes.
Now, how is that? Because he's one of the greats. How is that working with Mike Allred?
So I started reading Mike's stuff. I think I was just out of college, and it was before Madman. He was doing graphic music, and I was like, "This is my favorite thing ever." And I spent the next 20 years buying everything that he had anything to do with, including action figures, lunchboxes, trading cards, yo-yo, and now he's drawing the book that we made together every month. And so every month I get 20 pages of fantastic Mike Allred art in my inbox before anybody else gets to see it. I try not to think about it too much because if I dwell on it too much, it might occur to me that I'm actually had this dissociative break from reality, and I'm just in a corner drooling somewhere, just imagining the whole thing. So it's kind of cool, basically.
So in your inbox, you have notes from Stanley, and then you have Mike Allred art, then you need to sit down for the rest of the afternoon?
No, I'm going to have to work. It's ridiculous. I've got to actually write more stuff. Yeah.
So now you also have Cinderella going on, and you turned Cinderella into a sort of a spy character. It seems like the Fables world is so rich that you can take these famous characters and sort of do whatever you want with them. Tell us about Cinderella.
Well, the idea of making Cinderella a super spy was Willingham's.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm just stealing all of his ideas, which I've been doing for years. Really, he sold Fables for me. It was my idea. But no, I mean, it's such a cool, rich world, and the opportunity to sit. I've been reading Fables since before it came out. Like when Bill was first working on the first scripts, he stayed at our house for a while and got to see him, and I was like, this book's going to be good. But yeah, it's great because, really anything is permissible. Like, the notion that, like, characters from fairy tales and fiction are interacting in the real world and have had adventures past what we've seen is literally endless possibilities. So yeah, it's just great.
And finally, you have sort of the most traditional superhero of all time. You're doing Superman. You've had to step in and take over someone else's storyline. Has that been difficult or challenging, or are you getting to go your own places?
Not really difficult at all. I mean, I've been making up stories about Superman since I was 6. I've been training for a long time for this. It's just fun. The practical, I wouldn't say it's difficult. Maybe it's a challenge of, like, the structure of the story being such that he has to visit this city and this issue, and there's things that have to happen. I have a lot of, like, leeway because it's like a roadmap for a cross-country road trip. And as long as I get him to certain spots at the right time and have certain story beats in there, I can fill in the gaps with whatever I want. So let's have a side trip to go look at the world's biggest ball of twine. That'd be great. Not literally. But yeah, it's fun.
So how do you see Superman? Because I feel like in the comics he's difficult to pin down. There's so many different variations of him. So how do you see Superman?
Superman fights for truth, justice, and the American way. That's it. The thing is that, people talk about, like, that he's changed or different people interpreted him. But I think, honestly, like, since around 1940-41, once the character finally gelled under Siegel and Schuster and they got all the bits and pieces of his world in place, that's been the guy, and, like, the stories around him might have differed a bit, but he's recognizably Superman from that point on, no matter what media it's in, no matter who's writing and drawing it. So yeah, I think that Superman is a concept that all of us have in our head, and we all know what Superman is. We all know what he would do. It's just the challenge to the writer and the artist is to come up with something cool for him to do. Yeah.
And you're having a sort of really great year. You've got all these great artists you're working with. You're working with Stan Lee. You're writing Superman, and this is sort of like, and you're hitting different kind of genres. It sort of must be like a writer's dream.
Again, I think maybe I'm drooling in a corner somewhere, so I try not to think about it. But yeah, it's been ridiculously great.
So I'm here with Jonathan Hickman. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
So we're the first show of the year, and it's the first show after the death of Johnny Storm, the big Fantastic Four moment. How has fan reaction been to this big your killing of a character, of a beloved character?
They've been understanding.
Yeah, they have.
Yeah, no, they've been good.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be buying into what I'm doing on the book.
Yep.
and they've been nice. I've signed a lot of them.
That's good.
That's not a bad thing.
Haven't got any angry Fantastic Four fans who are mad at you for it, or
None face to face.
Yeah.
We get some emails, right?
Oh yeah. So that was a really big. It got a lot of mainstream press coverage, and it was kind of a big thing. So when you woke up that morning on that Tuesday when the news broke, what was it like to see your name being bandied about? Like on the AP and on the mainstream news, stuff like that, talking about a story that you wrote.
I guess it was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit much.
Yeah.
Right. How could it not be? But again, I mean, I took it all as kind of validation for what we were doing. It's kind of that thing where, ideally, I would like for no one to have known what was going to happen at the end of the book. Right? How much more awesome would it have been to read it and not know what was coming, and then that happened, and you're like, oh my God. But I also really, really like that people are reading the book now.
Yeah.
Our numbers went up big time, and we kept a whole lot of it. And the numbers for FF #1 look really big, and so the fact that people are reading the Fantastic Four again it's just nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice. So we'll take it.
Yeah, right. Excellent. So the follow-up issue, 588, with Nick Dragotta, the whole story was the silence issue. What made you decide to do a silent issue to follow up and to tell a 30 days after it happening, like that format of that story?
Well, like Johnny dying, it was in my initial pitch.
Really?
That we would have that issue that would follow it, and we stuck to plan.
Yeah.
So it was nice, and that's the thing though that I'm always careful to bring up in all my interviews. Nick did a great job on that issue, and Steve just did a fantastic job on the whole 3 arc, and
they both killed it. Yeah.
We've had great art for the most part on Fantastic Four my entire run. Maybe 1 or 2 missteps the entire time, and Paul Mounts has colored it just perfectly, and I've been really lucky.
Yeah.
I've been really lucky. Marvel's given me great gigs and a lot of trust, and I think we're paying off a little bit.
Excellent. So FF #1 is coming up. What can we expect from that? And the preview art seems awesome to continue that trend. But
Steve Epting has some game.
Yeah.
What can you expect? A bigger book. Yeah. It's a much bigger book than the Fantastic Four that had led up to it. It's really Act 2 of my 3-act plan for the entire family, and it's really kind of injecting them back into the Marvel Universe and making them important to what's going on. They felt like an afterthought for a really long time, and so
kind of off to the side.
Yeah. So this was the first act was me kind of breaking all of that down, what works, what doesn't work, and how we can make it cool again. And now we're going to stick that firmly in the Marvel Universe, and I think people are going to really like it.
Cool. So we just talked to Dan Slott a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about writing Spider-Man and how he approached you and said, hey, do you want Spidey for the FF? When you were thinking, okay, I got to fill Johnny's role, was Spider-Man on your list, or who else would you have gone if you didn't go with the Spider-Man direction?
Well, there are a lot of people we could have used. We could have graduated one of the kids from the school.
Yeah.
Everybody that was on that chalkboard list in the silent issue, we thought about. Yeah. So, and She-Hulk as well. But as soon as we brought up Spider-Man, it was early on enough that I could talk about it earlier in the book and hint at it, and it's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
And we haven't come out and said it, but I'll say it. It's not the book's not just about 4 people anymore. So we'll have other members. We'll have the cast will get bigger.
Oh, really? Cool.
Yeah. So
excellent. So S.H.I.E.L.D. just wrapped up when we last talked to you in Chicago last year. We were talking about S.H.I.E.L.D. and the big idea of it. So now that the first volume kind of wrapped up, were you happy with the feedback that people get it in your mind, or was?
I guess everybody gets it. It's just a fun book, right?
Well, I was really impressed by how you took these historical characters and made them mythological almost. These like Da Vinci and Michelangelo and stuff like that. Made them in for us. Now they're somewhat myth. We hear their legacy and we hear their talents. But you took that a step further, but then wove it into the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Well, I mean that was kind of the point of the series, but. The first 6 issues are really just introducing people to the characters. and it's it's not a really formalized 3-act structure. I mean, it's a really idiosyncratic kind of storytelling. The next 6, volume 2, is where all of that stuff that's where we get into the 3-act structure of what is actually going on. And it gets really big. And not that it hasn't felt big already. I mean, but no, that book's. I don't know. In the marketplace right now, I'm thankful that we could launch that as well as we did, and that it's sticking around, and that people are loyal to it. And again, I've had really cool stuff to work on at Marvel.
And the second volume, is Dustin Weaver still going to be doing the art on that, or because he killed it on that on the first one?
It's mine and Dustin's book. I would not do the book without him.
Cool.
So if he gets fired, I'm quitting.
Right, fair enough.
So there you go.
And if someone can finish the story, it'll all right. So one of the things that attracted us to you as a creator from the get-go was your creator-owned work and Image and stuff like that. Are you ever going to return to creator-owned work? You can go back to Image, or go back to doing non-Marvel work?
Absolutely. And it's always been it's always been the plan, right? Sure. I mean, we want to own our own things. We want to learn from what's happened to the guys that came before us. So, absolutely, I'm going to do more creator-owned stuff. We haven't announced anything yet, but I'm going to be doing one this year. It should hit around San Diego.
Cool.
We'll announce it beforehand. Should ship in July is what we're talking about.
Great.
But I'm excited about it. I'm going to be drawing some stuff, too.
Oh, really? You going to get back to doing art?
Yeah, well, I can't. My time is really precious right now, and I'm busy. But God, I miss drawing. I'm not that good, so I can't really support myself with my art. But when I do get the chance, I wanna do that, and so we're gonna do a couple of those issues this year too.
And that wraps up part 2 of our Emerald City Comic Con coverage. Hope you enjoyed it. We had a great time bringing all the interviews to you. Emerald City is a great show. Everyone enjoyed it. Everyone had a great time here. If you can't make it, come to this show. In the meantime, this is a big month for cons. We have C2E2 coming up in 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks after that is WonderCon. So we're going to bring you lots of interviews this month. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you can't make it to the con, we're bringing it home to you. In the meantime, iFanboy.com is where you can find this show, all of our other shows, our weekly audio show, all of our great written content. Go there. It's a great time. Contact at iFanboy.com is where you can send us an email. 888-FANBOYS 326-2697 is our voicemail line. Twitter.com/iFanboy. All kinds of ways to get in touch with us. I'm going to go. Show's still going on. I'm going to go have some fun. Go talk to some more people. See you next week. More creators, more fun, more stuff back home for you, bringing the con experience to you. In the meantime, go to iFanboy.com. We have all of our shows there. You can leave comments. You can tell us what you thought of the show. I saw you looking.